All right, welcome back, guys. Again, this is Raul. We are doing the Soarin Disc Golf Open coverage. This is the back nine, so if you haven't watched the front, go ahead and do that first. But we are going into the back nine. We got Elmore at 6 down, Nick Newton at 5 down, Gavin Boss at 5 down, and Dylan Haugland at 1 over. Pretty tight scores, and there is a lot of birdies on the back nine, so I'm curious to see how low these guys are going to go. There's a lot of pretty simple par 4s, but also a couple tricky par 3s, so let's go ahead and get into it. Hole 10, very simple par 4. Really just need to put something inbounds. There's OB left, so that's really the only way to mess this hole up unless you really tug it right into the rough. Nick throws a perfect dead straight mid-range shot, and Gavin going with this Champ Leopard, looking to just turn it off that left side. Trying to get a little more distance. And just a little nose up, a little bit high, kind of fading out and ends up trickling OB. But should be a pretty simple upshot for the par. Sias, either a straight mid or a straight fairway, not sure. Either way, throws it good. Gonna have a pretty good look for the birdie. Dylan going with the sidearm. He's got a really good sidearm and backhand, but I think if it's wide open, he kind of tends to go to the sidearm just because he feels a bit more confident with it. Kind of allows him to commit a little bit harder, going with this little hyzer flip sidearm, getting a lot of distance. That should make for a really easy birdie. Sias going with the backhand. Can either go for a little turnover or just kind of drift it on this right side and put it on a little slow fading line, play it to 15 left. Looks like that's what he's doing. And yeah, just fading it out left a little bit. It should be 15-20 feet or so. Nick going with, I think, his first sidearm of the round, and throws it pretty good. That's pretty much looking part to me. Gavin also going with the sidearm here. He's like maybe 150 out, not far at all. So definitely biting off more distance, and actually leaks that a little bit right. He's going to have potentially a weird little putt here to save the par. Dylan got a little Toro chip shot into the green. You can either kind of bump this off the green or just put it high and even give the basket a little run. There's kind of a bull back there, and he gives it the height and whew, does give it a little bit of a run, but should be right there still. And yeah, Gavin's got a weird putt. He's going to have to make for the par, which is already not even what you want on this hole. Straddling out way left. Going to have to put this on some Annie. Actually a really good bid, just a little high left. That would have been a nasty putt. But gonna have to take a bogey on this, dropping most likely 2 to everyone. Yep, Sias makes that. Dylan's got his putt back there, but Nick's gonna go first, so pretty much a couple of tap-ins. Yep, good birdie from Nick. Busting out that forehand, getting a birdie with it. And Dylan with the good birdie as well, getting him to even par. Gonna set him up nice on the back nine. Hole 11, another relatively straightforward par 4. Tee shot's a little bit harder. The rough is really rough right, and then there's an OB left and straight, which is pretty easy to find if you leak your drive, which Nick does, and he knows it's going that way right away. But it actually barely holds on. He doesn't know it yet, but it sits. Really don't need a lot of distance here. It's all about just putting something in the fairway and giving yourself an opportunity, because the hole really isn't that long. So Sias going with this, I think it's a distance driver, kind of ripping over on it, turning way into the rough, but actually kind of faded back out a little bit. He's going to be not too far in the rough, but he's going to be in there. Dylan clubbing down, going with the T-bird. I really like this for him because he's been kind of squirrely with that wraith, but this, he just throws it dead straight, puts it right on that flat area. Should be a good opportunity for his sidearm. Yeah. Gavin going with the Star Boss again. Actually just going for a hyzer. Kind of a smart play, not really bringing too much into play. Just putting it out right, trying to get into a similar spot as Dylan. And yeah, that's going to be perfect. So Dylan's got this super overstable flat FD3, looking to hit it on a flat or a touch of Annie angle. Just let the stability work back towards the basket. And that's a super good angle. Touch of Annie out of the hand. Nice height to fly back. Just a little long of the pin, but should be well inside the circle. Nick, you can see he just barely hung on this side slope. Throwing a stable mid in. Looking good. And just kind of clips that little shrub and should be right there. Gavin going with one of his trusty zones. I know he's got two of these. One straighter, one more stable. Never really know which one he's throwing, but he's good with both of them. And this one holds over a little bit, but should be a circle's edge, maybe just inside circle putt. And Sias is in the trees here. You can't see him, but his disc will be coming out soon. I cannot tell what he's got, and I just see his disc fly out like this and spike right up there. It's actually really close to the basket. Gavin's gonna go first. Looks like he's circle's edge. It's hard to tell if he's in or out. Headwind uphill, so just gotta kind of get the nose up and let the disc rise into the basket here. That is a super solid putt. If he misses that, it's for sure going on the green. Dylan to start off 2 for 2 on the back nine and get him under par here. Had a little bit of a rough front nine, but it's definitely redeemable. And there you go, another birdie, getting him under par. Nick, that one definitely could have stuck. Little high left, but just kind of a chain out, slightly missed putt. Definitely want to see that one drop though. Sias with the insane birdie from the rough. I don't even know what he had in there, but couldn't have been that great, and he made it work. Hole 12. Probably the hardest birdie on the course. It says 375, but it feels like it's longer. It's perched up on this hill on the right side with OB right. So you need to throw something dead straight at it or something that kind of bends from left to right. Or if you have a big boy sidearm, you could get there, but it's tough. Because if you leak it right, you're going OB. If you turn it over, you could find the green long. It's just a touchy angle. Dylan definitely has the power to get there. Looks like he just leaks it a little high. This needs to sit. And it sits. So it'll be a long putt if he wants it, but it's scary. So could just be a nice little easy par there. Gavin actually laying this up, just throwing a super overstable distance driver, kind of letting it fade out left, and gonna be just getting up and down from there. Nick looks like he wants it. Gonna be putting on it on a little flat line. Touch Annie out of the hand. It actually looked really good. Just gets the anti-skip right. Gonna be OB. It looked like a really good angle. Just a little bit too much turn. That was definitely close though. Gavin gonna be taking his easy par. Dylan's looking to see if he wants it or not. And no, he does not.
Yep.
Sias, don't imagine he's laying this up. And not a bad bid, just a little high left. Nick definitely running this for the par. Ooh, gives it a good bid actually. Gonna be nestled up for the bogey. Alright, hole 13, we got another par 4. The basket is in there on that little mound on the back where they're putting at back there. So you really just want to throw either a straight backhand, a little sidearm flex, backhand hyzer, anything that just gets you out there. Then you're either going to have a backhand hyzer or forehand hyzer into the green. Sias turning it over a little bit and getting the flex out and a nice little skip forward. That's going to be prime position. Dylan looking to flex this sidearm. Don't want to turn it too much, otherwise it's going to go way down the hill to the left there. Really only need 350 to 400 here. And not quite flexing it enough. This could be in danger. Just barely hangs on, hits that tree, and that's definitely what keeps it in bounds. Gavin going with his trusty star boss again. Nice looking shot there. Touch of Annie out of the hand. And a big fade forward. Should be a little chip shot from there. Nick looks like he's lining up a nice hyzer flip. Straight disc. Trying to stretch this one out. Yep, touch a hyzer. That's a nice flight. Yep, gonna be right next to Sias, it looks like. So Dylan's got this tree and the OB right behind. He's got this super weird stance. Gonna try to chop this over left and fade it back out. That's pretty good, hold on. And that should be up there putting. That was a really good, just a weird technical forehand. Nick, I believe this is a A2. Just a little choppy sidearm and fades out right, but ends up not too bad. That's actually only 20 feet or so. Sias, this is bread and butter for him. This is all day. I haven't seen him throw one forehand, so you know he's confident in this little backhand touch shot. And yep, slides it up there to perfect. Gavin been working on his sidearm, throwing this little Badger flex shot with the sidearm now. Definitely leveled up his game a little bit and puts it up there nice and close. Dylan with another little nervy putt here. But this would feel really good to make after that weird up shot. See if he can make a good one. And a solid stroke there. He's definitely feeling good about his putt because it's coming in with pace, but it's also hitting the center. Looks like we're gonna be having a star frame here. Yep, solid star frame. Moving on to another par 4 where we kind of just need to put another one right in the middle, and then it's kind of a backhand hyzer or even a forehand hyzer up to this elevated green.
Oh, that's not great.
Sias overturning it a little bit, needs to hold on, and just grabs that tree and drops. He'll have a shot from there actually. Hole's really not that far. Going downhill, his disc still probably traveled a bit. Dylan throwing that wraith, getting a huge distance line out of it. Oh yeah, that's way up there.
We're coming.
Yeah, what's up, G?
Gavin sticking with that star boss. Oh my god, super low. Almost hitting the ground and getting a huge skip forward. That's going to be in perfect position. Did not expect that disc to skip that much. Nick going with this same D2 from the last hole. Little hyzer flip disc. That looks nice. Yep, touch a hyzer out of the hand, turning the whole time. Lands nice and soft. Sias, he's on this little gutter and it's got a bunch of dirt, so he's just testing that run up because it's a little bit slippery. Probably got 330 or so to the basket if I had to guess. Maybe a little less, maybe 300 feet or so, but either way throws a good shot. About 15-20 feet just below the basket.
What did I say yesterday, Dylan? I was kind of
to go stabler zone.
Yeah.
Gavin getting some caddy advice from Dylan. Going with his zone here. Swings it nice and wide, but that could get a little bit of a roll, but should be solid still. Dylan opting for the sidearm. Honestly, don't hate this. It'll land flat if you can get it just on that left side of the slope, which isn't too far from the basket. Just can't pull it left because it won't really climb that hill too much. Opting to go for the standstill, it looks like, actually. And needs to get down. And gets right through the trees. That's going to park it. Great shot there.
See that standstill adjustment?
Nick, a little bit of a weird angle on the left side for the backhand. It kind of comes in at a steep angle of this hill, unless you landed on this short side, which is kind of a sketchy little putt over there. So he's going to be going first. Looks like he's about 28 feet or so. Definitely a sketchy putt. This green is super sloped and super hard packed too, so it can roll and kind of flies by the basket, but decent break. It doesn't go too far or roll or anything, so only going to be about 20-25 feet or so, where it definitely could have been worse. There you go. Makes a solid putt for the par. Not happy about it, but it's definitely a good par after that putt. And I know it looks like there's something in the basket. I was thinking the same thing when I was watching the screen, but it's a light in the background. It just lines up perfect with the basket. And that is a great putt from Gavin. Got a pretty strong left to right wind, so how to hammer that. Sias, 18 feet or so. And a nice putt there. Dylan's going to tap in his birdie too. He is shredding right now.
Yeah, it's pretty terrifying. Good birdie.
So hole 15, par 3. We got the bunker on the left, path right, and path long. It is slightly uphill on the green, so if you just hit the front of the slope, it should get you nice little bump up to the basket. If you hit it on top, that's where you can easily go OB long. So these guys are kind of playing the right side and playing the skip up to the basket. And that looks like it's almost parked pretty much. Dylan going with that Luster T-Bird. Lining it up on Annie, but gonna throw it on Heiser. Yep, baby Heiser. Nice little slow drifter, and that is perfect. Gonna continue a strong back nine, getting to 4 under if he can make that putt. Gavin going with the beefy FD3, looking to just hit this thing nice and flat on the right side. Super overstable, so isn't gonna do anything crazy. And that looks good. It's got some height, so it could go long, but it checked up right before the basket. That should be perfect. Nick, probably a FX2 if I had to guess, but not entirely sure.
No, get down.
And hates it out of the hand. Just knows it's too high. That's going to be a scary putt for the par. Super uphill look with OB. 15 feet long left, so if you sky this thing past the chains, it's probably OB. Honestly, a pretty good bid there. Just a little bit low. Sias taps in before I can start the camera, but pretty much just a tap in. Gavin, little 15 footer. And Dylan with the park job, getting to 4 under. Another par 4, only 510, super simple. Really just need to put something in the middle of the fairway, and then you're looking right at the basket for honestly an eagle opportunity here. Really big arms could park this, but it's a hard park job. really need like 500 feet of hyzer power. Dylan looking to just put this thing right in the center. Think it's that Wraith again. Oh, nope, it's the Destroyer. And that is early. That is going to be way short left, which if there's one hole that you can miss short on, it's this hole, but it's going to be a weird upshot, but he's still probably not even going to be that far from the basket. But you definitely want to make this hole as easy as possible. Nothing crazy. Gavin just putting this beefy disc off to the right. And yep, that's prime position. There's even a little backstop right behind the basket, allowing you to give it a run. Nick gonna be right next to Gavin. So Sias is gonna go first, throwing this pilot, I believe it is. You can see the basket there. Couldn't quite see it because it is a little uphill, but I think it's only like 150, 180 from here. Sias trying to give it a little run.
Just can't do it.
Saying he just can't get himself to get it basket height. But he's parked. Gonna be another birdie, getting him to 12 through 16. Gavin also parking it. Nick, see if he can give it a little run. I'm sure he's trying to. Being 6 back right now. Yeah, definitely trying to give it a little run. Just comes up a little bit short. Dylan's got this weird look. He's like kind of pinched between 2 trees and has a low ceiling before the basket, so definitely not the upshot you want. And just kind of skies it into that tree. Gonna leave him a lot longer putt than you would want. About 40 feet or so. Into the tailwind though with the backstop. Could definitely run this pretty hard. Giving it the jump putt, just splashing out. Gonna have to settle for the par.
Oh, I thought you made the putt too.
All right, 17, we got another par 4. 460, but you got a green right past the landing zone, so you kind of want to club down. Little bit of a tight shot, actually teeing off from out of bounds here, but you really just need to throw something straight, land it right before the green, and then you got a little pitch up shot for a super tight green. So it's a short hole, but a tight green and a tricky little drive. Gavin gonna be going a little overstable fairway driver, putting it on a little bit of a flex. Yep, and that's where you want it. Going right up towards the green, should be almost a jump putt from there. Nick trying to get himself the same type of look. Yep, touch of Annie, flex back, should be perfect if it doesn't skip on the green, and yep, that's perfect. Dylan going with this T-bird again. Been throwing this thing really well all day. a little bit high, but should be far enough to clear this rough on the left. There is some land over there. Should be safe. And yep, just hangs on. Got a little sidearm. The green has OB right behind it and bunkers short. But he's only like 130, I think, 150. So it's a super touchy shot. And that looks solid. Just barely hangs on. Almost even rolls back in, but stays in.
I was cutting it. It's so way. Oh, bro, that was crazy.
Alright, let's see if Sias can get to 13 through 17. Like I said, this is his bread and butter shot. And puts it over the inbounds the whole time. Never even had a chance at going out. That was perfect. Gavin, I could see him making this. He's got a super long jump putt, probably trying to give this a little bit here. He uses his beaten envy for long up shots. Looks good, just barely catching the front cage. That was a super good bid. Nick gonna be giving this a little toss. He's got this putter throw dialed. He's been disc golfing forever and just, yep, nestles it perfectly up to the basket. Almost actually goes OB long, but was safe. Taps in his birdie. And that should be another star frame. Going into 18, this is a tough par 3, really good finishing hole. The basket is dead straight. There's OB right and pretty much OB left. There is a clearance that you have to clear of out of bounds. It is inbounds short and then kind of out of bounds for like 80 feet and then inbounds. The rough is super rough left, so you want to kind of flex something up the middle. Sias gets a little bit of a bad break, but also was kind of heading towards that bad area. He's actually going to be out of bounds. Going to have to get up and down for his bogey. Gavin could get to one back if he birdies this and Sias bogeys. Good looking shot. Something stable, little flex. Just comes out a little bit early, but that's going to be a nice,
I was there yesterday.
nice putt over there, maybe just outside the circle. Nick going with this. I think it's a FX2, probably something not super overstable, but kind of mid stability, trying to put it on a little Annie. And just rides over to the right. Gets lucky and hits that tree and just barely stays in bounds. Dylan going with his champion leopard. Looking to just hit a hyzer flip right at the basket. This would be a great way to finish off his round. Had a rough front nine, but is shooting a killer back. Getting some turn out of it. Gonna be solid. Gonna be a little bit short, but that's a putt to get him to 6 down. Can't ask for much more. So Sias got a weird little shot here. He's got OB right behind him, so kind of got a weird stance. And he's got the tree in his way, but does well, gets it up there. Should be good for the 12 down. Nick was safe, so just shooting for his par here. Puts it right up there. Gavin to get to 1 back going into round 2. About 40 feet or so. Looking to step putt this thing and just jam it. Oh, look good. Was just left the whole time, I guess. Gonna have a little bit of work for the par. It's gonna be about 25 feet or so. Dylan for the birdie. Maybe 35, 38 feet. And gets it right side. That is a fantastic back nine. Getting him to 6 under par. Super solid shooting for the guy. Gavin to stay 2 back of Sias going into round 2. He gets it. Just a couple of cleanup putts from Sias and Nick. There you go, good putt there. It was a little bit longer than I thought actually. That was about 15, 20. And yep, good par from Nick. Alright guys, that's round 1 of the Soarin Open. We got Sias Elmore at 12 down, Gavin at 10, Zaylin Nash at 8, Nick at 7, Scott Watson at 7 down, Dylan Haugland at 6 down, and Martin Evans at 5. But tomorrow for the lead card, we got Sias, Gavin, Zaylin, and Nick. It's a tight battle, 12-7, but it is definitely a shreddable layout, so it's going to be a super exciting round 2. Thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you in round 2.